Caitlin Clark is the only woman in basketball to ever sign with Wilson Basketball, and she's the only athlete since Michael Jordan to do so.
If we're comparing a Caitlin Clark signature shoe release to anybody not named Michael Jordan, anybody not named LeBron James, you're being extremely disingenuous.
Get ready, Hoops fans. Something just landed that could shake up Nike's entire billion-dollar empire. Behind closed doors at Nike, executives are panicking. This is the biggest sports brand on the planet, valued at over $200 billion. Meanwhile, they've locked in what people are calling the female version of Michael Jordan. Caitlin Clark just signed an 8-year deal worth $28 million, a number many say is way below what she's actually worth. On paper, Nike looks like they just hit a decade-long jackpot. But here's the twist. Wilson stepped in out of nowhere and dropped an ad so powerful, so emotional, that it's got Nike's own marketing team questioning everything they just did.
When you strip away the noise and the bright lights, it's just the game you loved as a kid.
Chance of defense by the Clark fans.
But brace yourselves, the fallout is about to hit even harder. Let's break down just how bad things really got for Nike. Over the past few years, the brand has been in a freefall. Since 2021, Nike has lost more than $100 billion in value. It got so bad that fans and investors were calling for the CEO's head, and eventually, he stepped down. While Nike was busy stumbling, Adidas was quietly thriving. Even after cutting ties with Yeezy, Nike's third-quarter numbers were expected to crash by over 11%, dropping to around $11 billion, the worst fall since their pandemic-era collapse back in 2020. Under new leadership, Nike tried to fight back. But according to Morningstar analyst David Schwartz, a couple of fresh sneaker drops wouldn't be enough to save them. They needed something bigger, a whole new billion-dollar franchise. And that kind of comeback doesn't happen overnight. It takes years. That's when Caitlin Clark walked in, a once-in-a-decade talent. In college, she was more talked about than Angel Reese, more recognized than any male college basketball star in history. That's not an exaggeration, that's just fact. So when she turned pro, brands went into a bidding war. Under Armour wanted her to be their next Steph Curry. Adidas was ready to break the bank. But Clark stayed loyal to Nike, the brand that built her up in college. Everyone expected her signature shoe to change women's basketball forever. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Nike announced that Aya Wilson, not Clark, would get the first signature sneaker release. And buried in that announcement was something even worse. Clark's shoe wouldn't hit shelves until 2026, maybe even 2027.
Even speculating that. But today was the Nike quarterly call, putting to rest any rumors that A, this wasn't a done deal, and B, there are renegotiations at the table. Something that this did clear up as well is looking like Caitlin Clark's shoe was coming in 2026.
A shoe deal that takes 2 to 3 years to deliver? Let's put that into perspective, because it's almost hard to believe. Back in 2003, when every major brand was chasing LeBron James, Nike wanted him so badly that they started building his shoe before he even signed the deal. They even used a secret code name, Air Zoom Nobel, which was just LeBron spelled backward to keep it under wraps. From the very first idea to actually lacing them up, it took just 3 months. LeBron walked into his NBA debut wearing his very own LeBron ones.
If we're comparing a Caitlin Clark signature shoe release to anybody not named Michael Jordan, anybody not named LeBron James, you're being extremely disingenuous. Extremely disingenuous. We can't compare abnormality to normal behaviors. We can't compare the extreme case, the rarest of the rare case, to an average Joe Schmo walking down the street singing do I did it dum diddy do. We can't be doing that. We only compare Clark to Jordan, Clark to James, Clark to Tiger, Clark to Gretzky, Clark to Ali. That's it.
So somehow, Nike's 3-month turnaround for LeBron turned into a 3-year wait for Clark. And that gap is about to blow up in the most embarrassing way possible. When Clark's shoe deal first made headlines, people started asking questions. The debate got heated. Some fans argued that Aya Wilson deserved her signature shoe before Clark. since Clark hadn't even played a WNBA game yet. But here's the thing about business. It was never about fairness. It's about who moves product. Look at basketball history. Allen Iverson outsold Tim Duncan in shoe sales, even though Duncan was arguably the better player. Nike actually tried launching Tim Duncan sneakers twice, and both times they flopped due to weak sales. And Duncan, he didn't care. He understood how business worked. But Wilson isn't Duncan. Nike is putting her everywhere. Ads, billboards, campaigns. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable. She's made some controversial comments in the past, including remarks about Paige Buchers, suggesting her success was tied more to privilege than to skill on the court.
Black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say it's not really about me. Just, and she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, awesome. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds.
Let's talk about the snub that changed everything. Caitlin Clark was left off the Team USA Olympic roster, and the official excuse. She hadn't earned it yet. But here's the thing. That excuse falls apart under any real scrutiny. Christian Lettner had zero NBA experience, and still made the legendary 1992 Dream Team. Diana Taurasi was a WNBA rookie with stats almost identical to Clark's when she made the 2004 Olympic squad. 20 years later, somehow, Clark still wasn't good enough. And then she went out and proved everyone wrong anyway. She landed on the All-WNBA first team as a rookie, led every rookie in category after category, and finished fourth in MVP voting. She didn't just play well, she flipped WNBA viewership on its head. Her games were pulling in over 1 million viewers, while a typical WNBA matchup drew around 300,000. Tickets to her very first playoff game outsold every other WNBA playoff game combined, put together. The Washington Mystics literally had to move venues to the Wizards Arena just to fit the crowds chasing her. Wherever she stepped on the court, attendance records fell. Even Team USA eventually admitted, quietly, that leaving her off the roster was a mistake. So with a resume like that, you'd think Nike would be sprinting to put her everywhere. Instead, they're frozen, too nervous to fully back their most marketable athlete in women's basketball. Then Wilson dropped their commercial, and everything shifted. This wasn't some cookie-cutter sneaker ad. This was next-level storytelling, the kind that makes every other basketball commercial look like a rough draft. It opens with a simple, powerful idea. Strip away the bright lights, the noise, the hype, and basketball is still the same game you fell in love with as a kid. Then boom, there's Wilson, right there on the blacktop, capturing exactly why so many of us picked up a ball in the first place. The message keeps building from there. The feel of the hardwood under your feet, the ball in your hands guiding you, shaping the player you dream of becoming, always pulling you back to the place you love most. No gimmicks, no noise, just calm, focused confidence. That's the genius of it. Wilson isn't trying to navigate cultural debates or push product. They're selling something bigger, nostalgia, passion, the pure love of the game. And somehow, without even needing to force it, that message lines up perfectly with who Caitlin Clark actually is. Here's where it gets brutal for Nike. Clark just became the first woman ever to sign this kind of partnership with Wilson, a deal so rare, the last athlete to get one was Michael Jordan. Let that sink in for a second. She's now in the same sentence as MJ. And the line from that campaign, pairing her name with the pure idea of basketball itself, is going to haunt Nike's marketing department for a long, long time. While Wilson positioned itself as the brand that actually cares about the game, Nike looked like it was too busy worrying about backlash to make a move. And it's not just the ad, it's everything behind it. Wilson's basketballs aren't just products, they're statements. Their team spent months studying Clark, her personality, her favorite color, who she is off the court, even how she dresses and what she posts. They treated her like the superstar she already is. Nike, on the other hand, seems to be treating her like a liability. According to Wilson's senior director of global production, Christopher Rickard, the design process started with 50 different concepts before narrowing down. Colors didn't always land right. Patterns that looked great on paper didn't always translate. But they kept refining until it worked. And when the finished product dropped alongside a brand new basketball lineup on June 23rd, the response was massive. Fans everywhere praised Wilson for staying focused on the sport itself instead of getting tangled up in outside noise, calling it one of the best basketball ads in years. Meanwhile, reports even suggested Clark could end up earning more playing overseas in the Euro League than she made during her entire WNBA season, despite the commissioner pointing out she could pull in around $700,000 playing in the W. Think about that contrast for a second. And through all of this, Nike's silence on their biggest star in women's basketball just keeps getting louder. They're watching, from the sidelines, as a basketball company builds the exact campaign they should have built, telling a story with a ball that Nike was too scared to tell with a shoe. This is what happens when decisions get made out of fear instead of confidence and talent. Clark signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike, a solid number on paper for someone who has already reshaped women's basketball like no one before her. But instead of using that deal to make a statement, Nike is letting a basketball company eat their lunch, all because they're too nervous about possible backlash. And honestly, the irony stings. Nike's entire empire was built on athletes who went beyond the sport. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods. These weren't just great players, they were cultural forces that reshaped how the world saw sports marketing. Clark is cut from that exact same cloth. But Nike is so tangled up in internal politics that they can't seem to see what's sitting right in front of them. Wilson sees it clearly. With Clark, they're not just selling basketballs. They're sending a message about staying real, respecting the game, and valuing greatness without worrying about what critics on social media might say. And that's the part that should really scare Nike. This isn't just a good ad. It's flawless marketing. It captures everything that makes Clark special: her love for the game, her authenticity, her ability to inspire the next generation, without stepping into a single controversy. When you watch that commercial, you're not thinking about politics or drama. You're thinking about why you fell in love with basketball in the first place. That's what great marketing is supposed to do. And Nike had every opportunity to do exactly that with their biggest star in the sport. Instead, they're watching from the bench while Wilson runs the play. Basketball fans and marketing experts alike have been praising the ad, which has already racked up millions of views and endless shares across social media. Wilson just proved something simple but powerful. When you focus on the right things, skill, honesty, and genuine love for the game, everything else falls into place naturally. This moment matters because it exposes Nike's hesitation for what it really is. They're risking the biggest opportunity in the history of women's basketball, all because they're afraid of upsetting a small, loud corner of the internet. Meanwhile, Wilson is quietly building a bond with a once-in-a-generation talent, one that could pay off for years to come. The entire basketball world is watching and taking notes. And if Nike doesn't wake up soon, other brands are going to step in and show them exactly how it's done. Wilson's first big shot landed dead center. And right now, while Nike is stuck dealing with internal politics, Wilson is busy making history. In business, just like in basketball, you either make the move or you get moved on. Wilson just proved they understand the game better than the so-called experts running the show. Nike's biggest nightmare might just be getting started, and honestly, it's only going to get louder from here. Think about the position Nike has put itself in. They had the chance to write the next great chapter in sports marketing history, and instead, they let a basketball company beat them to it with nothing but a ball, a court, and an honest message. No flashy campaign, no massive budget reveal, just truth. And that's what makes this sting so much more for Nike. They didn't lose because Wilson outspent them. They lost because Wilson simply wasn't afraid to show up. And this isn't just about one ad or one shoe delay anymore. This is about trust. Every young athlete watching this unfold is taking notes on who actually backs their stars when it counts, and who hides behind boardroom caution. Every brand in the industry is watching too, wondering if the old playbook, wait, analyze, calculate risk, still works in a world where fans can smell hesitation from a mile away. So here's the real question. Is this the moment everything changes in how brands market women's basketball? Or is Nike about to learn one of the most expensive lessons in its history? Is this a wake-up call they can still recover from? Or has the damage already been done? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the basketball world is not going to forget this moment anytime soon. What do you think? Did Wilson just outplay Nike at their own game? Or is this just the opening move in a much bigger rivalry? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if you believe Wilson nailed this moment perfectly, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, because this story is far from over, and the next chapter might be even bigger than this one.